come to the table. It's not going to be as grim as what you're saying right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've
Things are
hit.
made in Singapore, right? Things are
I mean,
made in
yeah,
Vietnam.
we've
Things
hit
are
stuff
made
from
everywhere, not
Vietnam,
just China.
Singapore, probably Bangladesh, Malaysia,
And this
right?
is India's chance to really gain traction. If India plays the smart, they can take over, literally gain a lot of momentum with China, between
But
China and us and them.
as of as of right now, though, all those countries are tariffed, and the first person we've hurt is ourselves, right?
We are
And
only removing one arm right now off us.
yeah,
Let's remember that. Look, I don't like this either, okay? But am I nervous and scared? No, because I've lived through enough crazy times in 37 years in business that my stomach can handle just about anything after all the recessions I've been through, and two bad ones. You, on the other hand, you're still younger, much younger than me. Splat, how old you?
I'm 37.
Okay, so come on, like you weren't even born yet on the 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, and you really didn't feel oh 8, 9, 10, 11 either. So the people that have been in business and have lived through those times, like me, right? I've learned to just go with the flow and figure it out as I'm going along.
Well,
So
I was,
technically you didn't even really live through oh 08, 9, 10, 11. You're a kid.
but no, I was trading options then. I was 20 years old.
Oh, you're a kid.
Okay, but I was in the market.
I know, but you're still a kid.
He was a
Yeah,
little
And
yeah.
baby. He was a
I
little
was a little, I was a
baby.
little baby.
He was
Yeah.
a
you were
little
wet
baby.
behind you were wet behind the ears. So as you were sitting there wet behind the ears, Ray was having a heart attack. Okay, thinking the world was coming to an end. So big difference, right? You're 20, and Ray's like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end, right? So like I said, thank God I wasn't dating Ray at the time, because he would have put me in fear mode, which I wasn't in fear mode oh 08, 9, 10, 11, or 12, but he would have put me in fear mode. So that's great that I was not with Ray back then. Thank God. I say that every day.
Yeah, and this is why I said earlier, and I don't know if you were here for my Dateline, but I said, now panicking will not help you at this point, right? And sometimes the worst situations in life, sometimes the only way out is through, and that's where we're at now, folks. That's
Scott, look
that's
at look
where
at
we're at.
companies like Thermo Fisher right now, right? Look at how off they are in their numbers. That's a great company, but they do depend on China for a lot of their products, right? Look up Thermo Fisher. So, do you jump in at $400 a share right now? I don't know. I mean,
So here's my take on it. I might be wrong, but normally products are made more um, inexpensive in China, right? So I believe that most of the companies who bring them here, and I said that today, make supernormal profits. So some of the companies can absorb that because if you were to make them in America with the high cost of labor, it would be more expensive. So some of the companies gonna have to eat some of that supernormal profits. Especially people in the retail business, they buy them for $20 and sell them back for $80. So I think
two,
some
two,
companies can
it's,
absorb that supernormal profit. I think everything is going to be just all right with China. No problem. That's
I don't care about China. I care about Canada. I think that was a bad move on. I think it's a bad move. I've
a
said it.
bad
I'm
move
going to
on
keep
Canada.
saying
I
it.
think I think
Keep.
we'll be
I
all
think you could have
right.
went after 6 countries, made your point, and
Mr.
not
Trump
gone after the
says,
whole
can
world.
I
And I'm
speak for
still
Canada
sticking with
since
that.
my name is Canada? Can I speak for Canada?
I love
Mr.
Canada. Go
Trump
right ahead.
says that after the election, he'll have the conversation. So let's wait and see. I'm not going to worry about something that is not here yet. When after the 28th of April, Carney and Trump will sit down and have a conversation.
We don't
Okay.
have that much time. We can't wait for that.
Well, he has to wait because
No,
Carney
we
said he was
don't
not going to
have
talk.
that type of
Carney
time.
said he was not going to talk to him if he was talking about disrespecting Canada, and he stopped disrespecting Canada. Give Donald Trump a chance, man. He At least Donald Trump acknowledged that, and he's not disrespecting Canada again. So let Trump and Carney speak
Well, did you
after
just do a
April 28th.
360?
I'm not
Whoa,
gonna
hold
sit down
on.
here and
Hold
worry
on.
about what's not gonna happen. Why should I worry? It's gonna be all right. Cindy, My name is Canada, and it's gonna be all right, baby. Don't worry about us.
No, I'm good in Canada right now. Thank God. Knock on wood.
Right. So nobody in this room worry about Canada. After the 28th, we'll talk again. Maybe around the 29th of this month. Don't stress yourself out. Go to your bed. Panic attacks zero. Blood pressure zero. We worrying about things, and maybe things just gonna be all right. Why are we
Can't
worrying
worry
so much? You see
about,
why?
you
You see why I
cannot
look so
worry
good at
about
my?
anything
You
that you
see why I look
cannot
so good at
control.
my age? No Botox, no nothing. Just some good vegetables and stuff, and some good body pump and body balance.
I
Man,
think you got some good nookie
it's
tonight.
not gonna happen. Nothing bad is gonna happen to Canada. We are just
We
gonna
have a
we are gonna
That's
coexist, and we are gonna be all right. And Trump and Carney will have a conversation after the 28th. Okay, let's go.
we do have a tariffs emergency meeting in the office tomorrow. Last minute, I don't know what it's going to be about, but
Are
be
you in the
interesting.
square dance hall bathroom?
all offices have
At
been
the
having
federal
meetings.
government, I work
Well,
for
they're
the
having
federal
meeting.
government of Canada. We
They're
have an
having
emergency
meetings
tariff
every
meeting
day.
tomorrow.
They're having meetings every
No,
day.
this is
I
a
see
special
every day. I see them
nationwide
going
meeting.
going up to Parliament Hill. Some things are happening now
No,
that
this is to
I'm
do with
not
the
happy with.
Canadians
I'm not happy
and
with
benefit.
the Americans searching Canadians coming back. Somebody was telling us, was Onaje James was telling he has a house in Vancouver, and even as a U.S. person, he's being harassed when he's going back to the States. Some of the things that are happening now
Wait a
are
minute.
not
I saw
pleasant.
an advertisement. I saw an advertisement, guys. Tell me if this is
Hold
true.
on, you interrupted a
That
civil war.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
they
no, no.
always
No, they're both
interrupt
from
me
Canada.
because
Two
I
Canadians
saw.
are fighting though.
I need to ask them a question. I saw an advertisement in Canada that Canada will welcome you into the country. They will get you housing. They will train you in jobs. That was a commercial I saw here. Is that really true?
send
What
me
they're
a link
saying?
to
In
where's
the
what
80s,
the commercial said.
That's what that was the commercial. I swear to God, Ray and I looked at each other like, "Is Canada really doing
We
this?"
are taking your scientists and your doctors. We have had a lot of
No, 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 no. They'll take unskilled labor, bring
no, we
them
don't.
in.
No, we don't need them. No, that is some fake shit.
no,
No,
we want the rich people. You can come,
we
Cindy.
they
Come and
okay.
bring your
I
bag.
Listen,
have to. I
that's
don't
all.
care
I
about the
love Canada.
commercial. Cindy,
I
can I
love
speak?
Canada.
Can I
Love
speak?
Toronto. Love
I'm
Montreal.
not going to worry about the commercial, but Doug Ford, and if you go on YouTube, you'll see it right now. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm not working. I have time for this. Doug Ford says that he will take the scientists and the doctors, and they are applying at a high rate right now. So we are taking them because we need more doctors here.
If you can find that commercial as a Canadian, I would appreciate the service
I
of
don't know
linking that
where
up in
I
the
don't know
chat.
where Ray and I saw it. I'm trying to remember. We
I know
just
she
saw it
don't
the
know.
other
That's why I
day.
didn't bother to ask her
You,
for it.
did you dream it?
No, either I saw it on the TV or we were watching it on our phones on something. I don't know, but
Was
Was
that's
this
what they were
within
watching
the
saying.
past
something on
2 weeks?
TikTok. Maybe TikTok.
It was just the other day. It was like over the
All right.
weekend we saw it.
It could
Well,
be
That
if
TikTok.
you see it again, give it to us.
I
Because
will find.
I don't think
I could
that
ask Ray if we
I
saw
don't
it
think
on.
that is true. We're not taking any unskilled labor. We don't have any space for those.
We'll
So
give
Sorry.
you
you
watch
housing,
infomercials at
teach
4
you all
a.m.
this stuff. Come to Canada.
We don't
Southern
have
Cal-
any space for those, and don't watch the commercials, guys, unless it's come from the government of Canada. Listen, don't believe everything you see. Don't believe that everything you hear.
So
I am telling you
whatever I
what Doug
saw is not the
Ford.
truth, right?
I'm telling you what Doug Ford, the premier. I've learned not to listen to everything and not to watch everything. I don't believe everything I see, but I'm gonna listen to the premiers and I'm gonna listen to the prime minister. The premier says, send your scientists and your doctors. We want them. So if you know anybody who wants to come to Canada, I will go with them
Yeah, doctors from
downtown.
Mass General, Brigham's, and BI are going to run to Canada. I don't think so.
Well, they're
Well,
coming though. They're coming. I
Oh,
can
why
send you
not?
links. You
Because
want me to go?
you can't,
Listen,
It's
because
fresh.
you won't
It's
pay
can
what
I
they
beautiful
speak
make.
now?
You
living.
won't pay
You
Go
know
live
the
what
in
they
thing
our
make
about me.
here.
mountains.
I'm either going to continue talking or stop. Okay, I'm gonna put the links in the chat. I don't talk over my ass, you know.
We pay. What do you mean? We pay good. Remember, we our minimum wage people make 25 an hour. What are you talking about?
We're talking
Canada's
about
income,
doctors.
but yeah, for but
Doctors.
doctors
Cindy,
doctors
Cindy,
make good money. What are you
Yeah, they're
talking
going to
Cindy,
about?
make.
they
May I just say
are
this?
they are going to attract scientists because
I'm
scientists are
telling
losing
scientists.
Yes,
funding
they
right
are.
and
Yes, they
left.
are. They
And
are losing
Canada has
funding.
this
That's,
program, the Canada Research Share program,
yeah.
which has recently upped its ante, and they're basically offering like 200,000 annually for 7 years, which isn't that bad and does, will do pretty well. And 100,000 annually. What I'm saying is scientists are going to go there because they have no, there's nothing going on in the United States. The United States is cutting everything, and they also can't count on the United States anymore, which is a real problem.
A big problem. I said that, last week? I said that last week. I don't want funding to stop on medical science. We need diseases cured. So I said that last week. But
my dateline.
They make more than 200,000 here.
But if they're basically being fired, which is what's happening. I mean, if I know you're in Boston, you must have heard about all these layoffs, etc., and all the programs that even the things that are supposedly being funded. I've been hearing that the U.S. government is still not giving them the money that they said that they're under court order to give them. So if I'm a scientist, do I trust the United States? Do I want to be here for the next 4 to 5 years? Not necessarily. And remember,
I'm telling you guys what I know.
This is why people are not getting into the medical field.
I'm telling you guys what I know.
They're getting paid here.
I'm telling you guys what I know.
What is your fellowship?
Okay, one mic.
Okay,
one
so my
mic.
question
One mic.
My question. I got the question.
One mic. We're going to go with one mic. One mic.
What is a fellowship?
Because I didn't give her a chance to talk tonight. You guys can keep it.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Believe what you freaking believe. I'm telling you.
It's a business question. What does a doctor in fellowship make in Canada, where they're only making between 60 and 75,000 a year?
I would have to go research that. I'm not a doctor.
But your daughter is a doctor. Remember when she did her fellowship?
No, she's a scientist. She's a scientist, a PhD scientist. She's not a medical doctor. She's a scientist. Okay.
But these doctors,
but the administrators make like $75,000. So like that's just a basic administrator.
Okay, so in a fellowship,
I was making 6 digits at 21. Like we're not cheap here.
Skull.
But a fellowship.
I've sent you a message. Check it for me.
All the people that I know right now who are in good positions in the doctor are making their over 6 figures. They're fine. They bring the doctors in, they will pay them. The doctors are coming. I'm telling you that I know personally, and I know that the scientists are coming. And I see, I've been seeing on advertisements. I've seen what they call it, articles where recruiters are saying over in Vancouver and all that they're getting more applications for doctors and scientists wanting to come. So what in that is hard to believe. You guys run them out of your country to come in here, and they like it. They want to come. Plus, they're going to get all their, all the benefits. They're going to want to come because it's right now they don't want to stay there. So we'll take them. When you're ready for them, we'll probably send them back. We'll send some back. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be all right.
May I wrap up this stuffed hog with defending what Stumpo said? Because according to the Grok machine, there's a Canadian ad suggesting people to move there. Okay, well, hold on. It says, it's called Move Here, We Will Help. Verbatim.
Yep, that's what I saw.
Ontario's trusted partner to Your North campaign, launched in late 2024 and extended into 2025, targeted U.S. audience, including markets like Boston, via TV spots on networks like CNN and Fox, emphasizing Canada's stability and economic appeal amid tariff tensions with Trump administration. While not explicit, relocation invite, its tone could feel.
So is that an X?
Hold on, Canada. I'm doing like a.
Can you read
monologue? Let me practice.
Stooge, can you read properly, Stooge?
What?
That's not nice.
Stooge, can you read properly? I don't understand what you're saying.
Take 4. Action. More directly, Ontario's Premier Doug Ford's $2 million brain drain campaign, also acted in 2025, has aired ads luring American professionals, especially doctors, with promise of jobs, health care, and a better life.
Didn't I just say
closely
that?
with a more here message. Boston's proximity and media reach make it likely a spot to air such ads.
What was
So
with the
yes,
personal
Stumpo.
clowns? Didn't I just say Doug Ford said it? It is on YouTube. Didn't I just say it? It's not everybody.
Well,
It's just
you
the
also said there
doctors.
wasn't an ad.
It's just I didn't say I didn't say I did not say there was
Redneck
an
Mark,
ad.
rewind the tapes.
I I'm saying I
Y'all
didn't see
were
an
y'all not
ad.
shocked
I'm
there was an
saying I
ad?
saw Doug Ford
Hey,
himself
Square Dance
saying
Dance
it,
Queen, were you
and
not
he's
shocked?
asking,
I
and
know
he
my
says
friend
the
Theory was.
doctors. I can listen to the stooge, so let me go to my bed.
Awesome,
Honest to
awesome.
God.
It worked. Hey,
It
Theory,
worked. Go
I
open up
got
your
you the
own damn room where you
information you
get 10 people.
requested like a
Go,
normal
don't,
Canadian.
something is wrong with you.
Are
Go
you
open up your
interested?
own
I
room
know
where you
that,
get your whole
Canada.
of 10 people.
To
Canada, you're gonna
answer
have to
your
change your
your
name because
question, it was
Canadians are
Bart,
supposed to
Bart, are
always
you
be
calling
nice.
me?
by yeah, Theory. To answer your question, it was done by Ontario's trusted partner to your north campaign. So
Oh, so that's who basically put up that commercial, is what you're
The-
saying?
yeah,
Theory.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford's 2 million
I said
brain
that.
drink
I told you I
campaign.
saw that.
So, Cindy, they have those billboards in Georgia and Florida because I traveled between these two states, and they are recruiting. Well, let's use the word recruiting. People to move to Canada.
Yeah, we want the Mexicans. All the ones that you guys are pushing out of the country, we want those.
No.
I got to tell you, buddy. They took one of my. They
I told
I
them
got
it
to be
was
honest.
Doug Ford.
They took
And
We
one of my great guys. I'm really upset about that. They
we
took him
we need good Mexican
18
food
Theory.
years.
around here.
I told them before when Cindy and I were speaking, I say I saw Doug Ford. So if that's what you're calling the ad, I didn't call it an ad. He was speaking and he talked about it. So if there's an ad, there probably is an ad, but it's the doctors and the scientists. It's not the people to come pick the grapes. Sorry, it's
If you
not those
haven't
people.
seen the
That's
ad, how can you
It's
that's
say
it's
not.
that?
I
You didn't
saw
even
Doug
believe in the
Ford.
ad 20 minutes
I
ago.
saw Doug Ford himself saying it. I don't care about the ad. I saw Doug Ford himself saying it. That's what I
Okay,
What's wrong
believe.
with the people that pick the grapes, though? Why don't you want them?
Because we don't
great
need
point.
those people. We need scientists and doctors right
Ooh,
now. So we're
those
taking this, and
people,
that's what Doug Ford is asking for.
they
We are
get blue
taking the
fingernails for
need.
you.
We're not doing like the United States. You take everybody. We have a need for doctors and scientists, and we want them, and they're coming. That's
The
all.
bill, the billboard in Georgia says, "Move to Canada, we'll take you."
And that means anybody, honey.
Well, we're not going to take all of them. They were going to send them
Well,
back.
you saw the little writing on the billboard? Like, how do you know this?
Well,
No,
what's sort of
it's a
interesting
huge
is
billboard. Like,
No, I'm talking to Yvonne. She's like,
oh,
Because we
God,
believe in population control.
Square Dance, are you done taking your shit yet? It sounds
I took a
terrible.
square dance all over
Respect
your
my
face, so
spectrum.
stop fucking with me. Just move.
Well, be courteous to the spectrum. And by the way, Tira, what's up with the poker
No.
chips?
What is wrong with Bart though? He's so disrespectful.
Wait,
Like the
Barth, what did you just say?
freaking
You're
trailer trash.
always messing with poker chips when you're
Because
talking,
and as a matter of fact, I'm
or
not
a
supposed to be
clinky
Poker
talking
chips? What
because
are
bracelet
you
or
talking
something.
I've
about?
locked him
Auntie
out.
Yvonne,
Every
it's not worth it. You know they
every
need
time,
attention
Right.
these
Schmakey,
days.
no one's
Too
talking to
much
you.
too much focus on
Schmakey.
the colored people. So
Don't
let
Ooh,
don't don't pick on the disabled.
Tara
yeah. The
is
Bart the bitch could barely read out
only
loud. Let's
half
just
the
applaud him for that.
Schmakey.
Barth, what are you
Hey,
saying about
why do you
poker
have to
chips,
always
huh?
bring in
Hey,
color?
Tira,
What is up with you and
Kira,
color?
Tira, you
I
and I
have
can
no
talk
idea
without
what
fight.
what
So
poker chips,
I
huh?
have a spectrum thing that I hear and notice everything. And every
All
time you
this
talk,
is
you
Oh my God, y'all
calm, Schmakey.
shut the fuck up.
Trust me,
Can
I
I
can
ask anyone
see.
else if I sound like I've been
No, no,
doing
no,
something with
Tira, hear
poker
me out.
chips?
Hear
So
me
this
out.
is a great room,
Do
guys. Do we
you
want to
have
reset it or what?
no? Hang tight.
What?
let's reset the room.
Yeah, the
yeah.
inability to
Please.
hold men
It's time to
accountable for their
Barth.
actions
reset
is
the
annoying.
room. Okay, folks. Okay, good evening and welcome to Debate the News here on Eastern Standard Time. It is now after midnight. The Trump tariffs are now in effect across the world, and the Trump slump may be underway. The only markets that are green is China, who have vowed to fight us to the end. That's China's own words, folks. That's their own words. They have vowed to fight us to the end on this. That does not sound like someone who's going to be coming to the table this week to negotiate, folks. So much for the art of the deal.
No one ever
Now
thought
let's
they were
go
going. No
ahead
one
and
ever
get
thought they
started.
would. Nobody ever thought they were going to be easy. No one ever said that. No one ever said that. We knew they're
Are
going to
you
play
kidding me?
hardball.
Are you kidding? Are you saying Trump never said it was going to be easy?
No,
That they were all going to come to
I
the
said
table?
China was never going to be easy, and that was the only
Trump
country that
never
we should
said
have went after.
Trump never said China was everybody's coming to the table except China. They're going to be the most difficult. That never happened.
I'm saying,
Oh, you're saying, okay,
I'm
we're talking
saying.
about Trump who
No, I'm
set the
not. I'm not
tariffs.
talking about Trump. I'm
But
talking about what I
we're
said.
talking about Trump who set the tariffs.
But Cindy has always said that we are going to have to go through a time of pain before things get better.
Correct.
And is that hasn't changed. Am I wrong, Cindy?
No, honey, that's what I've said, and I'm going to stick with that. But I also said, if you remember, prior to all this bullshit, that 25 and 26 were going to be 1.5 tough years on us. Across the board, I don't care what business you're in.
That's fine, but Trump didn't sell that. He said,
I'm talking prior to Trump era.
Oh, okay, so
Prior to Trump coming in,
conservatives don't
I've
care
been
about
telling
what Trump.
people to buckle down, put away for a rainy day. I've been saying this since 22. The cycle's done. Interest rates are rising, and it's going to hurt the economy. Period. You're there, we're here. We've been feeling the pain for over 1.5 years. Period. Depending on what business you're in.
You guys like changing the goalposts.
I don't change any goalpost. I've never changed it. And like I said,
It's trying to bring the
don't,
goalpost closer.
the difference is you can say what you want, but you guys can go on the internet and Google Cindy Stumpo, Bloomberg Radio, and hear what I said in 2010, 2011, 2 years back to back, by the way, called everything we're in, from the housing crisis in 10 years to the skill gap problem. I do not fuck up on these calls. And I told everybody in 22 that 25 and 20, we're going to start feeling it in 24, and 25 is going to be a horrific year. Okay? Now, I didn't know any of these were coming back then. You know that, and I know that, because we were not talking like this in 22.
So, Cindy, I made a joke earlier. What I thought would be funny is let's gamify this. Want to do a thing of squares, and we all call what the stock market's going to be or something else in 90 days, and everybody can put their money where their mouth is. It can be small amount, but you buy your square, you bet what it's going to be in 90 days, and let's see who wins.
Is Trump still in office? Then it's going to be down.
Okay. We don't know that. Here's what we know, and you got to stop talking that way, because people that are smarter than you and I know that what we know is we don't know. So stop making these predictions like you do know. Smart people say this: what I know is I don't know. Period. And anybody with a
Didn't
brain
Nobel Peace
says
Prize
that.
people said
You
it?
just said you made a prediction, though. So,
And my
Predictions
prediction was
don't mean
made
that you
on
know what you
basic
know.
economy where we were going.
So
Okay.
why wouldn't we look at the current economy under Trump, where, mind you,
Because I don't look at today.
but
I don't
you
live
just
in. I don't live
said
into
that
today.
Trump
I
said we're
can't.
going to hurt for a
in-
year and a half. Isn't
No, no,
3
no, no.
months into the
No, no.
future a year and a half?
You didn't listen to what I said. I said in 22, 24 was going to be the start. 25 was going to be a horrible year, and first 2 quarters of 26, I'm standing by them. Across the sector. Now, this is a whole other game that we're playing right now. But people have been hurting for over a year and a half. Once those interest rates start to rise, which start to happen, what happened? Mortgage brokers, name it. And I also said, Mickey, if you listen to me, this is the first time that I saw the real estate market slow down before the stock market. It's the first time in history of actually 38 years now, sad to say because I'm really old now, but 38 years of my career, you can't take that away from me. You can't take away that I have followed these cycles and lived through them. And I'm still standing. A little mentally gone, but I'm still standing. So there's a reason that I've been able to sustain, because I know when they're coming. And then you buckle down and you get ready for the storm. And you got to ride the storm out. And the only way to ride a storm out is you cannot be under leveraged. Over leveraged, I'm
Asian market
sorry, and
falling.
underfunded. Over leveraged and underfunded. It's now 12:35. My brain is hurting.
Yeah, Asian market is falling now.
Of course it's going to fall. Of course
Right,
it's
but
going to
most
fall.
Americans are already out in the rain. I'm not talking
But
about the
we've been
10
there.
20%.
We've been
No,
here.
it's not a we. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my
People,
God.
whoever
God,
said that
what are you
Donald
talking
Trump
about?
was elected, who said that he would make things better,
Well,
has
he's not. So listen,
may I
right now,
finish?
Mickey, listen, I'm going to give it to you. Right now, you're winning the war. You're winning the war. But we got to see who wins the battle here. Okay? And none of us know. He's playing a hardball game. I don't like it because I don't even like uncertainty either. I've lived through enough uncertainty in my life. But he's playing a hardball game. Either he's going to win or he's going to lose. This is not 80-20. This is 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. But he's betting. So what do you want me to tell you?
The
I
last time he
feel
bet on a casino, he lost. That's the entire point. I get what you're
Becky,
saying.
I can give you the
You
rationale
said I could
why.
finish.
I've told
I'm
you
just
before
trying to finish.
why that casino went under.
Yeah,
Okay?
but it does
I
not
gave you the
matter. At the
facts.
end of the day, it went under and people lost money, people lost their jobs. That's a terrible example to give.
No,
Donald
it's
Trump
not.
cannot make,
Because
yes,
all
it
those
is.
people,
It
no,
doesn't
it's
matter
not.
why.
Because
Cindy, may
all
I
those
finish?
One
people
mic,
took
one
jobs.
mic, guys.
May I
One
All
mic.
finish?
those, no, you can't. Because
Cindy,
I
you
let him
don't
can't finish
understand the
speaking?
Cindy,
Northeast.
give her a minute to finish.
let
Stay
him
Yo,
out of the
finish.
Cindy,
Oh my
girls.
God.
Fellers, don't talk when two girls are.
stop. One mic, Cindy first, then Miki. Everyone else stop
Really,
talking.
Skulls? Do we ever get a chance to speak?
What? No, you're all
Never
talking over
mind.
each other. It was a
Go ahead.
terrible listener experience.
It's
Let's
between
move on.
Cindy and Schmeeky.
That's what I'm saying.
Men don't need
Okay.
to speak.
Yo, that's enough, Barth. It was a terrible listening experience. They kept talking over each other, and then everyone else started talking,
Yeah,
and
and the women stepped up and said men don't need to speak. So
there were 5 different voices there. Cindy
I am
first, then
perfectly
Miki.
happy to wait, but can anyone finish a sentence? So go ahead. I'm perfectly fine to wait my turn. I went through kindergarten, got high marks.
Go ahead, Cindy.
go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, Miki, go ahead.
She's
No, I was
probably
muted. I was
still
muted. So how could I
on
stop
mute.
talking?
Yeah.
Now I got a mute button on. Like I didn't mute myself, so somebody muted me.
Go
If
ahead.
you go back to when
Well,
he bought
Tammy.
oh my God, I quit.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Thank you. When he started to build that last hotel was in 87. Google if you don't believe me. He was done with that hotel in 90. We were in really bad times. But what really punched him in the gut was in 91, Foxwoods had opened. Foxwoods was the largest casino to ever be built in the country. Foxwoods stole every big wig out of Atlantic City because that's what they do. They'll steal. That means they cleaned out player development from him. Do you know what player development means? Then I'm going to take you from player development. Do you understand, Mickey, what player development means?
Are you telling us how
The
Trump Casino?
Foxwoods opened in February of 1992, not 1991.
Okay,
Yeah, I was making it.
I'll give you the year 92, right?
You
92.
said that
Still
it
bad years. Still bad
but
years,
he,
Tara.
wait,
But
but he
hold on,
declared
Tara.
bankruptcy in
Before
91.
the opening of Tara, stop. Before the opening of Foxwoods in 92, what do you think they were doing in 91? Tell me what you think Foxwoods was doing in 91.
They were building.
Preparing to open up. Now you're preparing to open up. Where's the first place you would go to get your help? 1,000% into Atlantic City, okay? Because what is it? 2-hour drive to Foxwoods from Atlantic City? Okay, let's clean out player development. Let's go after player development. From there, you take your player development. From there, you get your dealers. From there, you go, keep going all the way down. They cleaned house across Atlantic City and took the best of the best. They took the best of the best and brought them to Foxwoods. and they left Atlantic City. They went to Foxwoods, being paid more money, and Foxwoods was a home run for all of them. They had 20 rock and roll years at Foxwoods. 20 rock and roll years. And most
Trump
of the play development,
financed
most of dealers,
Foxwoods.
most of everybody
No.
came
Cindy,
out of Atlantic City and went to Foxwoods. Please don't tell me.
he
Don't tell me about
financed
Foxwoods.
He financed the Taj Mahal, which is what went bankrupt in July of 1991, which was 7 months. He with junk bonds. Okay, that's why he went bankrupt, because he
Absolutely
overspent
not. It's more
and
than
he
that, honey.
over-leveraged.
It's more than, of course he was over leveraged. Again, he was over budget building the building, for sure, which, by the way, happens in every build out that big. You're never going to hit your target number. I haven't hit a target number since COVID. I have been over budget on every project I'm building out since COVID. That's never ever happened to me. I can estimate like you can't believe. But I can't estimate when numbers are flying up on me so fast and furious. There was nothing I could do. There was no negotiating. It was lumber's going up, and plumbing products, and rough plumbing, and rough HVAC, and metal, and this, and concrete, and you name it, and windows, and appliances, and doors. There was nothing that we could bring in on budget. Nothing. Had nothing to do with tariffs. Had to do with what? Supply. No supply. We needed more demand. We didn't have enough supply. Have not brought one project in since COVID on budget or under budget. My whole career, I could bring a project in under budget. I can't do it. And even when I estimate new numbers, they're constantly still changing. We don't get these
But
letters
Cindy,
anymore.
he had high operating costs as well as high debt costs. This
Tara,
was not a really well thought out project.
I'm telling you, if Foxwoods never opened, they would. Foxwoods put a big.
No.
But yes, Tara, Foxwoods. Come on, look at how many people Foxwoods employs. Okay, and then what came right after it? Mohegan Sun. Boom. Why go to Atlantic City? Why do you want to go to a shithole like Atlantic City when you can drive to
Why
Connecticut?
are you trying to say he had nothing to do with this?
Because
he
I'm not
financed it poorly.
Because
he
I'm
ran
not
it poorly.
blaming.
He overspent.
Listen,
and you're saying
let's talk about his
You guys
airline.
are arguing it
Let's
from two
talk
different
about his
perspectives.
airline
Shut
that
the
went
fuck up.
bankrupt. Talk about his airline that went bankrupt, right? I'll go with that one all day long. But when you want to talk about that casino in Atlantic City, there's other reasons why all of them started to hurt. How many concierge boutique casinos opened up in Atlantic City in the last 15 years and couldn't make it past 3 years? Because they can't compete with Mohegan or Foxwoods. Period. And let me tell you something else. If you don't think Vegas is taking a crashing right now, every sector of Vegas is hurting. And now you got a guy like Sofa that goes in, opens up a concierge hotel and casino called the Fountain Blue, and he's got to compete against the big boys. He's never going to make it. The dumbest move he made, I called it, I'm calling it from him backing out of the Diplomat Hotel, taking the money from the Diplomat, which he would have had two of the biggest hotels, the Fountain Blue in Miami, Diplomat in Hollywood, and he took that money, he took it to Vegas, and he'll never be able to sustain against those big boys. Period. I give him less than 2 years, he will be out of business. The Sofa family is an extremely wealthy family out of Florida, out of Aventura.
Cindy,
But he's not going to make it.
Are you saying all this to say that Trump didn't bankrupt casinos?
Buddy, there's other reasons why that casino went bankrupt. That's all I'm trying to give you information.
So you're saying that Trump is not responsible?
Of course, he owns the hotel, so of course he's responsible.
Okay, so what do we really?
But you can't just look at one little thing, AR. You gotta look at the whole picture. You gotta look. Okay, do you think Atlantic City would have got hit as bad as it did if Foxwoods and Mohegan never opened up? Let me ask you that question. Do you think that Atlantic City would have stayed stronger if Mohegan and Foxwoods never opened? Simple question.
I really don't know. I'm not
okay.
I'm
So
not
if you're
in the
not
business
from the
of opening
Northeast, then you wouldn't
casinos
know.
that fail.
But
Trump
they
is.
know. Everybody knows in Atlantic City what crushed Atlantic City. And that was Foxwoods and Mohegan.
Okay.
Yeah, the local schmokers will still go to Atlantic City and they'll still play there. But you want to go away for the weekend? They're coming to Connecticut. It's peaceful, it's quiet there. They can golf, there's golf courses, there's this, there's that, and it's not a dangerous area. No one's going to mug you there.
So are you saying that so he's really not such a bad businessman? Is that what's the point?
Look, I don't listen. My point is, I don't know if he's a good businessman or bad businessman. Here's my point. I don't know what the guy's worth. I don't count other people's money ever. Never do that, by the way, because you're going to most likely be wrong. And most people inflate their numbers for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that, but they do that. So I'm not counting other people's money, and I don't know what kind of businessman he is, and I'll tell you why. I have personally have never done a business deal with him. The closest business deal I've got with him going to HGTV and offering them a ton of money for Cindy Stumpo to go on his show, okay? And HGTV said, we're not releasing our talent to you, no matter how much you pay for her, to us. Not me. That he was paying HGTV. They denied it. Period. End of story. So I've never had a chance to do business with Donald Trump. Now, if I was on his show and would have taped that show, and it's probably like a 15-week taping to tape that show, I would have got to know the man better. That's the closest I've come to doing any type of business with Donald Trump. And HGTV said no.
Okay. So, but you have said that you're not too thrilled about these tariffs either, right?
No, I listen. I believe in fair playing field. Listen, if you and I are going to do business, you need to make money. I need to make money, right? It can't be a one-sided love affair here, right? You got to make money. I got to make money. But we don't have a business relationship, right? Am I right?
Are you talking about me and you?
Yeah, you and I,
Oh,
we're going to do
oh,
business together.
right.
You and I are going to do business together. You
Mm-hmm.
need to make money. I need to make money, right?
Okay.
Can't be a one side, I make money and you don't make money, or you make money and I don't make money. Because
Okay.
if that's the deal, one of us is an idiot, right?
Right.
Okay. So I understand his long game. No one's denying that. The smartest people understand where he was going. It's just how he did it was wrong. Completely wrong.
No,
Too aggressive.
anybody
Too.
understood what he was doing because when you put tariffs on the country that can put them right back on you, then the only one that's paying for it is the citizens.
But
And they're just
again,
they're just ping
the
ponging.
long,
They're
yeah,
just
the
ping
long.
ponging,
Listen,
going back and
are we
forth with
looking
tariffs.
at a sprint
There
here,
is no
or
long term in that. That makes
the
sense.
marathon would have been a winner if done correctly? Now, what's a marathon and what's a sprint? He wasn't looking at the sprint.
Well, well, I
He's
want to
looking
know
at the
what
marathon.
if done correctly is. That's what I want to know.
You needed a fair playing field. You needed a fair playing field. No, nobody that has a brain in their head doesn't understand that concept. What people are not understanding is why he went so aggressive, why he had to go so aggressive and do it this way. That's the problem.
But you do understand the more aggressive you get, the more aggressive the response has to be, and it's just everything is just it's just inflation for no reason.
But we could have done it much easier. We could have done it much sneakier if you want to know. Like go up a little bit here, go up a little. You didn't have to blow up the whole world the way he did.
Well, he
Okay?
could
So
have
we all
gone
agree
with.
with that.
We could have done this smarter.
We all agree with that. Okay, so
Okay.
we agree on something.
So you agree that if we had taken a smarter route in this, would have paid off for America in the long run.
No. I don't think tariffs was the answer. Period to anything at all.
Okay.
Period.
Then we'll just
It
keep
never
paying.
made sense. It
Then,
never made
but
sense.
buddy, it okay. Okay. So we'll do business together. I'll make all the money and you make no money. And how we looking? We're the consumer. We don't manufacture here. We're the consumer here, right?
Listen, Cindy, can I share something with you?
Go right ahead.
Isn't it always going to be, and you could respond to it? Isn't always going to be a disparity when it comes to deficits? Let's say, for instance, we're in business. You build me a hotel, and you get value from me because I'm paying you to build a hotel. So that means we're equal, correct? in terms of
Correct.
deficits,
Yep.
right?
So
So
you
then,
own the hotel. You're the developer. I'm the builder, right?
correct.
That would be your name. You're the developer. I'm the builder.
So that means our deficits will be equal. Now, let's if we change to that, you own the hotel and I'm just somebody coming to visit. Then
Yeah.
that means our deficits are way different.
Well, now you just changed you just changed the business
That's what I'm
deal.
saying. So then a smaller country deficits are going to be way different. So for instance, you own a
I
car.
don't know where you think I'm disagreeing with you,
No, it's
but
not
I don't understand
disagreeing.
why you don't understand that you got to make a fair playing field in business. You just can't keep taxing us and making us pay, and we don't pay. We don't get paid. How is that fair?
It is
How?
fair. It is fair because if I work for Honda and I am driving a Mercedes, that means the deficits between me and Honda, the company I work for, is always going to be unfair because I'm driving a Mercedes.
You have every right to drive whatever you want to drive. You might work for
Exactly, and
Honda.
that's called free trade.
Oh,
So
that's
then,
not
so
Breaking
that's
so,
not a good
so then,
analogy. I'm sorry, that's not a good analogy. I'm
why
sorry,
not? Because
because it's not. It's not. I mean, you're trying to simplify this to 1 plus 1. That's not. I'm sorry.
that's what
Sorry.
it is.
No, none. Listen, none of the big boys disagree with what he tried to do. What the big boys are disagreeing on is how it's been handled. That's it. Period. End of story. And it's been handled wrong. Okay? Now we can all sit here and be Monday morning
You
quarterbacks.
mean Trump didn't get his message across correctly? Oh my gosh. I think we all can agree to that, folks.
Okay. So he could have done this and been done it so different and so less aggressive that we wouldn't have even felt the pain. Okay?
And he could have gotten buy-in. He could have gotten buy-in by actually going with a 3% approach across the board and doing it incrementally
Thank
to
you.
mean that, hey, I'm
Thank you.
doing business, but every month we're going to have to increase this because, hey, China, you don't buy any of our products and we buy all of yours. Let's rebalance this. This is very serious. We need to address these things, but we need to do so diplomatically, right?
yeah.
And that's the problem, is that
And that's
this
why I
is an
used the
affront.
word theory. That's why I used the word. We could have done it sneakingly. Like we could
So
have got it. We could have got there, but been smarter and not so aggressive and just said, okay, you know what? Here, this is how this is going to play. This is how this is going to play. But look it.
But he's limited on time.
so
That's
As it
guys,
comes
it.
down to
But
it.
here's the problem, son, is he's
serious.
limited on time, but that 2 year midterm is going to come real fast. And if he doesn't get us out of this hot water very fast, the midterms are going to go all blue. For
And
That's
sure.
the key
And
thing right there that really
for,
matters more than anything else is it everything that's happening right now. If the market is down, if things are still bad, he only has 2 years to do whatever he thinks he needs to do because if it doesn't turn out right, they're going to hire new people. Simple
No,
as
but
the
that.
midterm, no, Spot. They're not going to hire you. The midterms are going to go blue. Period.
That's what I mean.
16
That's
months.
it. So you're done. After that, the Republican Party's done.
but if
People
you
will never
establish
vote Republican
trust,
again. And let me tell you something else. He is hurting the rich people. He is hurting rich people. You think it's the poor people. It's not. Look at this new tax thing that he wants to put out. Again, he wants to raise, I don't know if you guys have read this yet, but it's in one of his plans that he wants to go $1 million above 40% that you'll pay taxes. So, how is that helping
wow.
rich people? That's federally, by the way, federal, 40%. Now adding your state tax, where I'm at what, 9%? So, what am I going to go to work for? To make 50%? Nah, I don't think so. Time for retirement.
but even too much, even in the midterms, if he done gone about it incrementally, because I'm going to give you the perspective of a Canadian when he started slapping on those 25% tariffs. We were just minding our business. We were actually, as Canadians, we weren't even together. You know, like we have politics, liberals, conservatives out here in Canada. We're looking after our election. There was a lot of like, kind of segmentation, separation. The moment Trump came at us, oh man,
But
the whole country got galvanized. We're like elbows
but
up. We're like,
theory, you
yeah,
got
Well,
to
hold on,
admit.
hold on. So, I want to jump in here. So, the reason, what was it that upset you? Was because we were putting tariffs onto your products. So, in other words, if everybody's saying it always true, the people that import it and the end consumer is always the one who has to pay it. Why would Canadians care if that's the narrative? Why do you care?
we cared because we were disrespected with this talk about 51st state. We
I
have
agree
10
with that.
provinces. And so if you want to include all 10 provinces, actually be 61 states or whatever the situation. So you're not even
It needs to be
educated
equal
enough
numbers for
to
the
Okay,
talk
theory.
about a
fact.
But
country.
guys,
No, no, no,
prior to
hold on. Let me finish this point, right? And then secondly, the way you went about it, man, you just pushed this shit out like we've been
you
good
mean like.
partners. There
You
was no
don't think we were
diplomacy.
But
surprised too?
listen to me. I'm going to give you a good point right now. You don't think you were price gouging us in lumber through COVID? I
You know
know.
what?
I hold on here, buddy.
Yeah.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on, because I have a lot of friends that are builders in Canada. We were getting price gouged, and your people weren't. Now, was that fair to do to us up here?
What about
Look,
petroleum and the ability to actually grab it
So
from the
I just
ground
made
and
a
to
point to
refine it?
you. I just made a point to you.
I don't know
Through
about lumber,
COVID,
right? But if there's
okay, but I'm telling you that's what they were doing to us.
okay, no, that's fair. But regardless of if there's something going on, there's got to be some level of respect. And when you come at
Where
somebody,
was the
all of a
okay?
sudden, no,
So
no, no.
why
When you
didn't
come at
Canada?
somebody
All
like
I'm
this,
hearing is that Trump united the entire country of Canada.
that's exactly
That's
it.
good.
That's
That's
Congratulations.
exactly it. And
that's
now we're
great. I'm
like,
I'm happy for you guys
I
because
know they're upset.
the narrative over here on the right, just so you Canadians know, I don't know if you know this, but on the right wing sort of like troll forums and weird YouTube channels, I want you to know the narrative was that Canada is not a real country. It is just a cultural subordinate to America, and their only identity is being America, but not, which is just the craziest thing ever. Like basically, they were dismissing like your entire nation's history, your like everything, which is insane, and especially insane to do to one of our closest allies and neighbors. Very
Absolutely, I
shame,
agree with that.
very
That's
I want to
shameful.
wonderful.
know, does
Said
Now,
that.
anybody here actually
here's my
listen to the news
question.
on both sides?
Here's my question: Is you guys talked about this, and I'm wondering when this is going to happen. Trump said that he would do a little tariff. That's his exact words that he used on the campaign trail. A little tariff, folks, is like 1% or 3%. You know, 10% tariff is incredibly damaging. The tariffs that exacerbated the Great Depression were 25%. Folks, he put a 35% tariff, and now we're up to 104 on China. Those are apocalyptic numbers. So, at what point do you just stop and say, he lied to my ass? This
Okay, I
is
have a
not a small
serious
tariff. Like, what point do you just say, he is a liar? He lied to me, right?
Good
I mean, is
question.
anyone saying that?
I have a serious
When do
economic question, and
politicians tell us the truth? Cite me an
I'd like
example.
to ask.
Wow, but
I'd
wow.
like to ask everybody real quickly. I'd like to ask a question. This is because I'd like to learn from this, please. I don't understand if we always talk about how tariffs are purchased by the end consumer. What do tariffs actually have to do with the debt owed from one country to another? So they always talks about the imbalance. And I'm asking this because I honestly don't know the answer. I'm not trying to be political. Can somebody explain that to me, please?
Well, if you have an Amazon store and you're getting products from China or any kind of store, with that markup, what do you have to do to your customers? You have to mark up.
But what does that help the country where you have the deficit? So I'm saying if the US
It,
owes another country a deficit
Hey,
or another country
I,
owes
it
us.
doesn't help.
Sporticus, I
That
can
was
It
my
answer
point.
doesn't.
this.
It doesn't
Economist
help.
here. There's
So
no connection. Economist here. There's no fucking connection. That's it. End of story. Um,
Exactly.
right.
you know,
Okay, so I
It
have a
doesn't
question
help.
for you,
That's
Scott.
exactly
Let
what
me
it is.
ask you just a business question, okay? If I sent you a set of plans, and I did this, I did this exercise with a friend of mine in Canada, in Toronto. I gave him my plans after I had already bid it out, right, myself. right? Then I said to Billy, Billy, do me a favor, take my plans. I need you to go here, there, this place, that place. Let me see where your numbers are. How come his numbers were up slightly and my numbers were up like 35%, 40%? What, shipping it to Brookline, Massachusetts? Okay, I'll pay for the trucking, the shipping, yeah, all that, I get that. How come you could still buy your products there at a decent number and I'm paying an increase of that amount of money? That's called price gouging.
So,
Because you
Cindy, I
could.
understand that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I understand the
So you're
concept
saying
of
if
trying
there
to
was a
make price. Let me finish, please.
go
I don't
ahead,
talk often in this room, okay?
go ahead, no, go ahead.
I understand the concept of the pricing and why the tariffs are coming into play because we want to motivate businesses to to buy and do things here. My specific question is, we keep talking about these tariffs and how it's going to help balance out our debt in the world. And I don't understand how that comes to play. So, in other words, we borrow money as a country because of all these different things we do. And now we're like, the only way I see it is we're going to put tariffs on because we want to get more money in taxes. That's the one piece as a business owner, which I am as well. I don't get to keep it, goes to the government as long as they use it appropriately. That can then go to pay it down. So, tariffs, how does that help us balance the scales and get rid of our debt in the world?
Can I answer that question? Let me answer that question. So, tariffs for some countries use tariffs as a revenue source. So if America is using tariffs or going to use tariffs as a weapon in the long event, they're trying to use it as a revenue source, as what Trump is claiming, to get the revenue from the tariffs of people importing stuff from overseas, from foreign countries, and he will in turn use that revenue because over 10 years he's claiming $6 trillion over 10 years, and that's based on the tariffs that he's put in place. So then that will then go to their debt, paying down the debt.
And that debt is our deficit.
The debt is not our deficit.
Of course it is.
No, it's not.
How much
How,
money?
how is it not?
Hold on. How much money do we owe right now? How much money do we owe right now?
I think it's like 34 trillion.
Okay, and what are we paying per day? I've said this 9,000 times.
The most important thing.
$12.13.
Okay, we're paying $3 billion a day on that money.
I was definitely off. Sorry.
We cannot sustain paying $3 billion a day on the money that we owe.
I agree
Period.
with you.
And how
Okay.
do we owe the money?
That will hurt. What's that?
How do we come about owing the money?
Okay, well,
That's
before
what
anybody
happens
answers
when you
that,
print
let's
money,
not go
buddy.
political.
And when you
of
print
any
money, that's what
parties.
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how is that our deficit when we are printing money versus
What?
Doesn't that lead back to waste, fraud, and abuse?
exactly?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
why are we
folks,
spending money
just
fighting
just
other
to,
people's wars?
guys, just
putting
to
our
clarify everything, real quick. So the national deficit is caused by the fact that the government is spending more than it's taking in
Then it's
tax
taken in.
revenue.
Thank you.
And secondly, the trade deficit, which uses the word deficit, is a different and completely unrelated concept. They only
Exactly.
use the word deficit because that's an accounting term
well
for
said.
when
It's the
you owe more than
balance.
you
The
sell. And
balance.
so in a trade deficit, you have been people have been basically buying less of your product than you have been buying of theirs. It does not actually contribute to the national deficit in any way, shape, or form. The national deficit is
Thank you, Scald.
once again,
Thank you.
That was
taxes
the
we're
answer I was
spending.
expecting. So my degree is business economics accounting emphasis. I'm an accountant, and I've never understood why they keep. Again, I question all sides of the media. When they talk about these deficits, it makes it sound like when we're saying we're going to put this tariff onto another country, we're going to balance this. We're going to fix this imbalance and not owe these countries more money. And I've just never understood. Like it has nothing to do with it. So I appreciate that answer.
And
I
you're 100%
honestly
correct.
did not until this moment realize that for the average person, they're probably so illiterate when it comes to this level of like finance, because this is like geopolitical finance. This is not something
Correct.
you would learn in school. that they're probably mistaking the word deficit being used in two different places as somehow being connected. And it's like, no, it's not. So maybe that's something we need to hammer home a little bit more. I land.
It's really easy
It's
to
not that
forget
we're
what you
all
had to learn.
unintelligent. We just assume that these are made up fake numbers because it just keeps getting bigger. So it does. Why
No,
do you keep loaning money if it's just
but
going to keep
Hillary,
getting bigger?
a lot of people
Or
don't
maybe it's
really
Trump that's
comprehend.
confusing the word deficit.
A lot of people don't comprehend really tariffs and what they're all about, and that's really the truth. And maybe somebody really needs to break it all down for people that really don't understand it. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can't understand everything. You're good at this.
I
I'm good
think
at
you guys
that.
Wait,
don't
where is
understand
Grant
it.
to disagree with that?
I don't think you understand tariffs at all. The Customs and Border Protection Agency collects the money. Our government takes the money. I don't. What do you? Yeah, the company that's buying the stuff has to pay more, but the government gets their cut. They're the mafia.
Well,
That's
they're
how we
doing
make
that
money.
to
That's
raise
how it helps the.
funds.
That's how it goes right to the treasury. That's how it helps the debt. Did you ever think that Trump actually has advisors and actually knows what he's trying to do? You guys already said it in the room about
Beating the
10 minutes.
borrow.
You guys already said in the room about 10 minutes ago. They printed so much money during COVID. That's why there's inflation. What is this doing? Listen, I'm the one. I've lost, I think, $2 million in the stock market since this disaster. But I understand what's happening, and what is happening is he's trying to get the phony money out of our system. You have to do it somehow.
Amen.
$36 trillion in debt. That's the figure that you all should be remembering. You can't end with the $2 trillion deficit each year. This is not sustainable. What do you get? 40 trillion? 42 trillion? When will you want the empire to fall? I have a 1996 Pelosi tape. It takes about 3 minutes to listen. I sent it to you, Cindy, on your back channel. I posted in the chat. If you want to understand tariffs, if you want to understand the disparity, listen to the Nancy Pelosi tape. Like I said, it's a 3-minute clip. And she explains. And back in 1996, it was
Bro, that's
33%
old as
tariff.
hell, bro. That's old as hell. The Nancy Pelosi
Yeah,
tape.
it's
Yeah,
old
but
as
the
hell. It's
point
the same
is,
problem.
they were
Nothing's been
talking the same
corrected.
thing back then and now. So
It's
in the
And
not.
United
Nancy
Yeah, of
States,
Pelosi
it's a
course
wasn't
it's
president. She
political
old.
wasn't
divide.
president either.
Why do I really?
But
Isn't
So
that
she,
so
but
so
amazing?
if you
you're
listen
telling me
to
that
it,
because it's
she was
old,
all for it.
Yeah.
because it's old, it's not valid? It was
I think the
2%
best
America,
evidence is past
33%.
Ain't
data.
that what Cindy and Grant always said? Stop living in the past. Stop living in the past.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
making a
can't live in the
point.
past
This
either.
problem has been a 40, 50 decade problem. It's not new. Trump has the balls, the audacity to take it on. And
Okay, so
yeah,
Okay.
let's
there's
move to a
pain.
new
Do you
term
guys,
that's really
do you
important.
guys
let
really
me
understand that our
To
our
think that
great
you don't understand
let
where the tariffs go is mind boggling to me.
Okay, let me go ahead and clarify something before
let me
you
ask you a
guys do.
question. Do you
No, no,
think
no,
that our
no.
great I said a
I
question,
have to
then I
step
gotta
in
go to
here,
bed.
Cindy, because that was egregious misinformation. I've got to step in.
Okay.
So after Jotham said to me the other day that tariffs are used by other countries as a source of revenue, I actually spent 3.5 hours researching his claim. And I pulled data from OCED and I pulled data from every single trade database on every country on earth. And guess what I found? The country that makes the most money on tariffs out of any country in the world is China. And do you know how much of their yearly budget comes from this massive tariff collection?
Uh, I'm,
Anybody?
I'm
Anybody?
guessing about 3 to 4%.
You're high, lower.
Okay, one to
So
two
through
percent.
propaganda, I thought their GDP is
Low.
overstated by at least 5%, right?
It's
But I don't know if it's true or not.
0.8% of their yearly budget. And they are the country, folks, making the most money off tariffs of any country in the entire freaking world. And less than 1% of their budget is coming from that. So if you think that we are going to make enough money to offset a $36 trillion debt that was accrued by 25 years of frantic spending on both sides because the Republicans lost sight of being fiscal conservatives and the Democrats have forgot the tax part of tax and spend. You are insane. It is
Well
not
said.
mathematically possible, and just saying that shows a phenomenal level of ignorance. And I land.
Okay, so I want to ask another question about a different term. Everybody always talks about inflation. The challenge I have with inflation, to talk about it every time, is everybody always assumes when they talk about inflation is going to come down, that it's going to stop. There's a difference between inflation and deflation. And I believe, I don't know how to say your name the right way. I apologize, Carl. I think it's Carl. You can explain the difference of when there's inflation versus deflation. Prices, there's always, prices are always going to continue to go up. The desire is to keep it at a maintainable level of the 2 to 3% in a magical world. When it goes higher, it's horrible. But once prices raise, they very seldom go down until you hit deflation. Do people truly understand that?
I do. I've lived in it.
For a lot of people, they don't understand that those two terminologies where they cross over, because we live in a world where it's instant gratification, and we are a spending economy. So we don't understand those two terms come when they collide. It is over the years, as you see, prices go up year after year, and it is hidden in the form of inflation. Um, and then once the market corrects itself, it deflates everything, and the cycle starts over. But as we see today, it's a forced deflation. Uh, in as a, is it forced deflation in disguise? So let's see what happens. We are crossing our fingers that everything turns out good, and we win this one.
We have to win this one. Whether we like him or not, we have to win this one. There's the
Oh,
problem. So
we
instead of
agree.
all of us fighting against each other, we have to be on the same side here and just hold your balls and just fucking go for the ride because no one knows what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
I'd
if we
rather
don't win
suffer
this
for
one,
some little pain than a whole lot of pain of a depression later.
yeah,
But
if we
but
don't win this one, folks, we're going to be in bread lines, and I'm not even kidding. I mean,
We're
but
not,
listen,
earlier
Scott. We're not
I
going
was,
to be in stop. We're not going to
bro.
be in bread lines.
If
Come on.
if we lose this,
No, we're not going to be in
yes,
red lines. No, we're
Did you
not.
just bro
it's
her?
it's
No,
a
no.
It's
fallen
absurd.
it is a
But
fallen
it's
empire
I
theory.
won't agree with you on that one. We're not. The world only comes to an end one time. Period. One
Yeah,
time.
and it did
Okay.
for the
And the
Romans, and it
world's
will
not
for
going to come
us.
to an
Ask the
end,
dinosaurs.
and we're
but the
not going to
way
end up in bread lines. Okay,
but
and soup lines. We're not.
but
We're
the
not.
way Trump started this is you guys are basically playing 5-on-3 power play right now. You got three men, you got five people playing against you just because he set you back that far. This is as a shout out to the Boston Bruins.
Oh, theory.
Thank you for the Boston Bruins. Cam's one of my best friends. Thank you.
Hey, y'all give Theory a follow. I met him the other night. He is like I said,
Anybody that likes the Boston Bruins gets my phone.
one out of every 10 Canadians is a good one. He
There,
is
talk so I can
one of
hit you, so I
those.
can find you.
Hey,
Look,
There,
real
just talk for
talk,
a second. Thank you.
real talk. I'm a Montreal Habs fan.
no, no, no,
I,
no,
I,
no. Just
I
leave it
hate the
there, Theory.
Bruins.
You
I
did
hate the
good.
Bruins, but I give them respect. I give them respect. They're part of the original six. And don't make me name them because I won't remember, but I think I will. I think I'm close. Wait, Chicago, Montreal, Toronto, New York, Boston, and I think Detroit. I've got it. I'm the man. There we go. There we
Canadians are
go.
not allowed to lie.
There, I got to get you an invitation to the next Comics Relief in Boston with Cam
Oh,
Neely's
excellent.
foundation. Okay, and then you'll see the respect for Cam Neely like you've never seen.
I
And
appreciate
again, he's a Canadian boy.
that. I appreciate it.
Hey, Stumpo, have you ever thought about the fact that Canadians love hockey so much, but yet they've never won a Stanley Cup?
Don't go there. We need them to still be
Listen,
friends,
Hey,
man. It's
listen.
gone
McCoy,
too
I
far.
I'm
went
talking to
about. I went
Stumpo.
to one game when I was on HGTV. Right, all the HGTV talent went to one game, and all of a sudden, they put, on the big fucking screen, Cindy Stumple, Boston, tough as nails, and Cam is way up top, right, and I'm getting booed out, right. Like you people are crazy over there with hockey. Next thing I know, I got two big guys behind me, and they go, Miss Stumpo. I said yes. They said come with us right now. I'm like, come, what? What are you talking about? Come with us right now. They bring me up to Cam's booth. Cam goes, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm here with the HGTV talent." He goes, "No, you're not. You're leaving right now, and I'm getting you out of here. And then you're taking the private plane back with us." I'm like, "Okay, what's the problem?" "Oh, I don't know. Big fights that break out, this, that. You're
They
out of
thought
here,
you
Cindy."
couldn't hang? Come on.
No, he literally, because they put my face up on the screen and put Boston. Tough as nails,
Oh,
HGTV,
okay, my
Boston.
bad.
So the whole crowd there booed because they didn't know me, right? They don't know me. They just see HGTV, Tough as Nails, Cindy Stumpo, Boston. And it was like, and Cam's looking at the screen going, "What the fuck is she doing here?" And
Dang, Jot Ham. Mute
so
that thing up.
that's my one
You're
experience
ripping.
going to a hockey game in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Well, Montreal. Toronto. Toronto.
So here's a better question. Even if we do all these tariffs, do we expect our government's going to spend that money correctly?
Well, you can't ask those questions. What are you thinking? You can't ask
Well,
that.
to be clear, the win is okay. It's not mathematically possible to raise the money from tariffs. When I say winning, like if we could theoretically win this tariff situation, what I mean is we reshore the highest paid manufacturing jobs, right? Which manufacturing, especially in specialty industries, does pay well above retail and service. We then tax those workers on their now relatively high income. We expand our gross domestic product dramatically and begin to collect revenue on these phenomenal profits. So, in my mind, when I say win this, it's not winning from collecting the tariffs. That will never be enough money. It's the idea that we establish America into a place of economic global hegemonic dominance for another 100 years. You know, where the
Or
big
self, or a better
but
word,
that's provided. But
being
that's
self-sufficient is a better word.
but that's
that
provided America actually buys American products, right?
right. And I mean,
Because
self-sufficiency maybe, but I don't know. We can get there on some stuff, for sure, for sure. And we have a big country and a lot of resources. We can do some of that for sure. But yeah,
But
that's also
that's
provided.
not it was his only game plan here. That
but,
was not his only game plan. Like selling his gold cards, going through Doge. I mean, there was plenty of things that is doing at the same time, and that's the problem. It's like too many things going on at one time that has people's heads spinning.
Mhm.
And
but,
again,
here's the thing.
he's in for the sprint of the 2 year midterms. That's all I can see. Is he wants
Don't
to
Can
we
we
move
need
give
fast
up
and free.
fast fashion? Can we give up these cheap products? Can we actually pay for the quality that it takes to make it? And can Americans even make quality shit anymore?
now we talking?
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
There we go.
Okay,
Now
so
we
I
I
think
talking.
to
would
clarify
proudly pay
that
more for American goods, understanding that means more inflation if we're supporting more American jobs in the long run. We are stuck and we are addicted to low prices. It sucks. It's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt. But if we get past it, I think the entire world will ultimately be better.
I mean, we
and
tried in the 90s. We tried this. And all the made in the USA people, with pride, and we just couldn't hack it. We can't make a $3 t shirt. And people couldn't afford to buy a $27 t shirt just because it was made in America versus it was made in China.
and
People
it's
just couldn't keep up with it.
and it's
So
not just us
raise the
buying
price of
American.
raise what we're making, raise our incomes up so we can afford to buy American stuff. We'll buy more American stuff.
And it's not just us that we need to buy American. We need the rest of the world to buy American too.
That's
Thank
why
you.
I support
Thank
Canada, what they're doing, right? You should be supporting your own economy. All of these different countries should be doing all of it. And all we're asking, like, I think the ultimate desire with the tariffs is to actually have it's a power move, which sucks. Messaging is horrible of, look, we're going to keep doing this stupid crap and raising them until you agree to drop them. So why are we all doing this stupid raising and doing these tariffs? What he really wants, but he can't say it is, would you please drop the tariffs? We'd like to be equal opportunity through all this stuff. Nobody's going to do it.
I mean,
Spot, I'm
even
gonna call you Spot. I think you're one of the most sensible persons from your side of the border who have heard spoken in these rooms. Because what they don't understand is that with the movement that's going on in Canada, even though you're our biggest trading partner, but the collaboration and the relationships that are being formed right now, it's going to be tough for a while, but we're going to get over it. And I think in the beginning, they thought that Canada was going to roll over and die. As a matter of fact, Canada created the blueprint that everybody else is following right now. And Canada is not, and I know that there's going to be a conversation in a couple of weeks between Carney or whoever wins and Mr. Trump, but Canada is not rolling over, guys. We started doing things internally that's going to make our country grow. So for the people who over there are sorry for us and talking about, and from day one, from 3 months ago, talking about 51 and all that stuff, even Donald Trump himself has stopped disrespecting Canada. And then there are some bozos who come here all the time who keep talking about Canada being 51 and things like that. So respect, guys. At least there is some respect going on between Trump and Carney, and I respect that. And people just need to stop the disrespect. One of the reasons why Canada pushed back and the Canadians are hating their friends who used to be our friends is the disrespect. Nobody wants the disrespect. That is not a Canada MO.
Hey,
Canadians,
Canada, I
that
love
is
you.
not a Canada
We love
MO. We
you.
don't behave
We
like
love
that,
you.
So,
right?
Canada,
I,
I'm going to dispel. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to dispel the whole 51 state immediately, and here's the easiest reason. My OCD and everybody else's, one extra star on the flag wouldn't make sense. So we need at least, what is it, 6 more states before we would actually redo the flag. That's why we have different territories instead. And I make that as a joke. It's all about just playing a game. It's words, it's stupid. I don't see it happening. We're not going to invade some other country. I don't see that happening at all. I have a lot of friends that live in Canada and I love them to death. We just need to find ways to work together. And you know what? The politics are going to be the politics. It's important that we talk about them to try to move it forward and make sure our voice is heard. But we should never be stressing. Cindy, I think you'd agree with this part is don't stress and focus on the things you can't actually change,
Control.
right? You need to focus on making sure your life is good. So if you feel there are bad things coming, put some money in the bank and take care of yourself and do everything you
Exactly what
possibly
I've been
can.
saying for 2 years now. It
Yes.
doesn't matter who's going to be president. Just take care of your businesses, your families. Worry about yourselves right now because nobody else is going to worry about you. Okay? Period.
That's 100% fact.
That's all I've ever said here for fucking years. That's it. You got one person to count on out there. You, yourself, and I. That's it. Period. Done.
Yeah,
Hey,
and not the way it should be at all
But
whatsoever.
that's
We
life. What it
should be able
should
to be
be.
I'm
community
going to,
We
minded.
don't live in a
Hillary,
world
you
of
know I like you,
flying
but I'm going to
pink
disagree.
unicorns, Hillary. We live
Yeah,
in
we all.
Oh my
reality,
God,
and
there's
and
reality's
unicorns.
tough.
God damn it, I never get the cool stuff.
and
Reality,
folks,
I'm chasing the
reality's tough.
ghost.
this is
Reality's
a
tough.
great this is a great segue to remind you guys that we're still in spring. We're very early in spring. There's plenty of a planting season left for you to start a victory garden, right? That's what they called them during World War II and rationing. They called them victory gardens. So there's plenty of time for you to go and start growing some fruits and vegetables, things like
Or
that.
even a community garden. Hmm?
I'm just saying, you're gonna want to make sure you have a food source near you. That's just smart.
Go buy a bunch of toilet paper tomorrow. Oh, she should have bought it
Oh
today.
God, don't start that again, Cindy. My
Go buy a
God.
bunch of
But
toilet
you
paper.
know, but you make really good sense is that people haven't lived through bad times,
That's
so they
correct.
don't know how to prepare. And I came from a third world country and lived through the war over there. I know I look young, but you learn how to move
Adapt.
funds around, yeah, and survive. And I think over here people got it too good. They're spoiled. They don't have to suffer through, and the people that have learned how to suffer through,
Credit.
this is,
You know that all the Asians that live
yeah,
on either the West Coast or the East Coast,
yeah,
they are all Trump supporters, right?
of
They're
course,
not, they're all Trump supporters. And they all say the same thing to me. You've
yeah,
never lived in a communist country, Cindy, where you can't take your money out and you can't
nope,
do this and you can't do that. And you guys are so spoiled because you've
uh-huh,
never lived like that. And I hear it from
right,
everyone. But also, think about who keeps my business alive. Who do you think the buyers are? It's the
Asians.
Asians, a
Yes.
1000%.
Yeah.
They're the
And
ones with the
look at
money.
look, okay, look at all the casino.
But to get
Well,
their money out right now is
yeah.
so fucking tough. It's
Well,
so tough. They
and
have to
another
do such
thing,
sneaky things to get their money out. But
Cindy, we don't trust the banks, and we've
well,
been like
Asians
that for
don't
a
even
long
trust.
time. No,
The other
we don't
thing that
trust the
Asians
banks.
are, Chinese
No,
people always say to me, Cindy, we don't trust our own people. I'm like, what do you mean? How do you mean you don't trust our own people? They
because
don't
they're up
trust
to
their
no
own people.
good. They're up to no good. They steal our they steal our properties. Um, they you can't you gotta. That's why we move here. But at the same time, our eyes are still half open when we're sleeping. So
Okay, I got to do soft interrupt real quick here. Madeline, you were talking about the price of wings. It's all about you choose how to live in life. Go to Wingstop, 16.99. You can actually get all the wings and fries for 16.99. So that $15 issue is now solved. Thank you.
We'll just all eat at McDonald's for next year. How's that? And Dunkin' Donuts.
But hey, I have a serious question to bring up here. It takes 4 or 5 years to build a manufacturing plant, or maybe 2 or 3 years, right? This AI stuff is all over the place. I'm in it every day because I'm a Microsoft consultant slash business analyst. I'm actually learning an AI class right now for all this stuff, right? Now you've got to have AI come in and automate a lot of processes. My theory here is once you start getting those AI bots, they'll start improving themselves because yeah, I was just listening to a podcast. The guy says that their intelligence is improving at 4 times the pace of the previous iteration, and this is in the span of a year, right? So once they start engineering and fixing themselves, uh, who knows where things are going to be 2 or 3 years from now. But in terms of manufacturing, robots basically can work 24/7 practically, much more efficient. So who's to say that those jobs are even going to go to folks at a livable wage in a way that makes sense, and so that's the factor that everybody needs to look at. I'm not sure that the manufacturing approach is the best way to go about it. I think services would be good, but services, I mean, frick, I work with Chat GPT every day. The stuff is like making me way more productive, so from a knowledge standpoint you can't bill out as much. So those are the factors that are coming in that folks are really not talking about in this room. uh,
We've
you know,
talked about that so many times. We talk about it almost every night.
every night, okay, because I haven't heard it, right, and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
newer, right,
no.
but yeah,
That's Jonathan's big one right there, what you just said.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nobody talks about how bad ChatGPT is for the environment. Nobody talks about that.
What do you mean?
Well, it takes so many gallons of water to cool down. There's probably someone more knowledgeable about this than I, but it takes so many fucking gallons of water to cool down the servers or the environment, whatever it is, and then that water is not reusable. That shit is killing the environment, and I use it every day. No judgment. Apparently, OpenSea or whatever it's called, Deep Sea, uses about 50% less. Apparently, and I learned this from my kid. Bart, don't say nothing. Uh, apparently, it takes what did she say? Gallons of water per search on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT built my whole fucking new business.
That's going to fix itself in a matter of a couple of years.
I mean, sure, that's great, but I'm just talking about it now, and and I wanted to start this conversation with Scald. Like, I I really wonder and contemplate and think about if manufacturing is all done in the U.S. Like, I just don't see it working. I work with. I have a couple friends. I have a friend in Bangladesh. He makes 95 cents an hour, and if he makes the whole quota of the fucking week, he makes $1.26 or something like that. Like, Americans are not going to be working for any wages anywhere close to that. Kids, college kids, they're not going to. I mean, they're not even going to work for less than $20 an hour, and even that, I just don't see it. I don't want to ramble.
So I use a global team with my accounting firm that's based out of India. And the nice thing about it is it's allowed me to have scalability with my business. And I pay roughly about on the high, this is truly on the higher side, $25 an hour, but it's for a team. And the benefit of it, of course, is trying to find the best talent wherever I can that will get the job done. And it's not perfect. I still have to watch it. I have to hire a QA person above it.
Yeah.
But in California, you can go make $20 an hour at McDonald's right now. So when they did that with fast food, it created organic inflation. That if you had an office assistant that was making 20, do you think they didn't expect a raise or everybody else expect a raise? So this is the challenge. And when you're talking about like 90 cents an hour, 98 cents an hour, it's
Yeah.
one of the things I've always fought against, that I won't work with companies that are underpaying by that much. I cannot truly tell you exactly how much each employee pays with this company, but I did go to India, meet them, experience their culture, got to know everybody, and feel comfortable that they are treated better than most companies.
Right, but Spartacus, I've found out through several companies. I've been on the look, if that's a term, for call centers for my business, and I've been looking in the Philippines. I've been looking in India. I have several. I have five, at least five close friends in India, and they've told me, these companies, they will tell you that they're gonna give you an agent, this many agents, and they're gonna give you a quality assurance person and this person and that and a manager and everything. And they say that they're going to pay those people $8 an hour, but I know for sure 100% from my friends. I have friends in the I have Filipino boyfriend for 14 years. His family, they all have told me that they don't receive that, these employees, they don't receive that $8 an hour that we signed a contract and say that, okay, we're going to pay you per employee, quality assurance, this, and that. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that those employees don't get those wages, and it's so unfair and it's so fucked up.
I agree with you. And it's important to do your due diligence. As a matter of fact, in the Philippines, if you're hiring an employee, you're required, if I understand this correctly, to terminate somebody, you're required to pay them at least 2 months additional wages. So there are ways to work with people that are understanding of these things, truly do the research and better understand it. The company I work with, I know the owner, I know the different managers, and the more important than anything else, the best way you can truly tell if they're taking care of employees, I'm going to speak from the India perspective because it's the teams I've worked with, has to do with turnover. If you see a lot of turnover, you need to be able to track and maintain and understand that. If they always have people leaving and having to train new people in, well, of course you're paying a lower price because you're always training people to do their job on your work.
Good point.
Yeah, so there's not a single job any of you guys just mentioned that's not going to be, if not entirely automated in the next 24 months, then I would say almost entirely automated in the next 24 months. Like call center,
Well,
like those call center operators, those are done. These kind of like accountants, done.
I'll
Like
disagree, but keep going.
all that kind of stuff. It's done. That kind of right now. Like if you look at the ELO score for programming for AI, like how good of a coder is AI, right? The new model that was just released by Google, which is like free, and the new model that was just released by ChatGPT are currently ranked in an ELO score where it places them about 190, which means there's 190 humans on Earth that are better at writing code than these AIs. And guess what? Zero of them are in India. We actually factually know this. So like there is not a computer programmer in that entire continent, well, subcontinent of India, that is better than an AI. So like when we talk about vibe coding, that's what we're talking about, bro. We're talking about just using the AI to write code for you. I just slapped an app together. Actually, it was yesterday. I just slapped an app together so that way me and other parents can coordinate our schedules with our children, because like we realized we all have children, and then we realized, oh, like I have a science museum membership, and like, oh, I also have a zoo membership. It's like, oh, we should take our kids to the zoo together, right? So now we have a little app to coordinate that. But anyway, like it's super easy, and like this is crazy. That kind of stuff would have taken so much time to make now, and it's just over.
Okay,
So
two things, Scald. First of all, I think you're going to meet a girlfriend through that parent app. And secondly, how the hell can you get on here and say, I just slapped together an app? I want to slap together an app. Good for you, man.
So I want to add one more thing on because you actually added a different dimension to the conversation, unless I just missed the point earlier. I'll agree with you that AI can replace my global team and the cost of them. I will disagree with you that AI will not replace me so long as I'm always staying on top of technology and evolving my own practice.
Spodek is bought. Don't tell him anything yet. Shh.
So, so we will. I will say this. Firstly, thanks, Cher, and yeah, no, the vibe coding is real. I am a very mediocre coder myself, right? Um, but what I turned what would have been probably 20 or 30 hours of my work into 3.5, which is crazy, just crazy.
I love
What
that. I
what did
love
But
you use to what for your environment?
oh, so basically, what I did was there's actually this vibe coding. I actually found this vibe coding script on Reddit, right? And so first, it's like, okay, you do a really like detailed breakdown of all the different things that you want. Like it's almost more of a project management exercise, right? And then the problem, and this is where I got into the weeds. Like I wrecked an app earlier by vibe coding it the wrong way and trying to have the AI troubleshoot it. And like when the AI troubleshooted it, it just like absolutely freaking destroyed it, right? And I was like, oh my god, like that was not good. And so then the next time, what I did was I actually took all the code and then I actually moved it from ChatGPT to Google and then had it troubleshoot that code base like as a prompt, and that actually worked more effectively.
Vibe coding sounds like it came from California, Southern California specifically.
Awesome. Okay, good. I'll look into that now because that's the people that are AI literate are going to be in a better position, unfortunately, and that's going to be a way to kind of stave off that change that's taking place in the industry across the board. The more knowledge, the better you are at communicating with those agents, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and like I'm not like the strongest person with AI. Like, um, so I manage the cybersecurity and cryptocurrency investment fund, and we're a relatively small fund. It's like $20 million. But we have a similarly sized AI fund, and the guy that runs that used to work at Google's DeepMind. And like, like I'm not going to sit here and be like, I know about AI, right? I have a passing knowledge of it because like I work in venture capital, right? So I'm constantly seeing startups. And I'm constantly seeing emerging and cutting edge technologies. But like I'm not like an expert on this shit.
No,
Just kidding.
and I'm edging my bets on Microsoft because most of the companies have their information stored in Microsoft. Anybody that's big government, big business, doesn't really matter. They store their stuff in Microsoft 365, whether it be OneDrive, whatever. If you're using Google or anything else, if you're a medium sized to large company, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball. And what the AI does in that environment is it's able to interact with your work content, the content that you produce, that you reference, your emails, chats, all of that stuff. So that's where it differs from ChatGPT, where ChatGPT is what's out there and whatever you feed it through an attachment, right? So it's a different experience, and from a productivity standpoint, that's where I'm edging my bets because it's really more specialized, and companies are not going to move away from Microsoft. So that's where I'm actually good where I'm at right now. But yeah, I wouldn't mind exploring other things because so many things plug into that ecosystem per se.
Yeah, screw
You
Google.
need to talk to Nozzle. Nozzle is a Microsoft guy. Microsoft all the way. You know Nozzle?
No, I don't know him. If you can
No,
make the introduction or just, yeah,
yeah,
shoot
yeah.
me, that'd be great offsite, Yvonne. I appreciate
And
it.
Nozzle works with Chatter too. So you see,
Oh, he works with Chatter too?
he
Okay.
has a big N on his profile. Big green N. Even on LinkedIn, he uses the same thing on IG. Nozzle, a big N. Newzil.
If you can shoot me his LinkedIn, because I don't see his
I'll do
profile,
that. I'll send it
that'd
to
be
you.
great.
I'll send it to you in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cool. So,
Just direct chat, right? Direct message, because I won't. The chat's too active.
yeah, I can send it to you on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thank you.
So, Scald, I'm having a great time using AI and ChatGPT to, to help me do everything from like I even I even have ChatGPT look over contracts before I sign them because I'm like, should I spend money to send it to an attorney or should I run it through ChatGPT? I mean, everything from emails to all kinds of things. But you mentioned that you're in you work with venture capitalists, and I now have a brokerage. I do commercial mortgage. I hate even saying all that, but um, don't you feel that as far as like venture capitalists, there's that human element that can't be duplicated, like, oh, okay, you're Eastern European, oh yeah, how's your blah blah blah, your Orthodox holiday, yeah, happy Kwanzaa, happy that human element of getting to know clients and making them come back to you. I sell money, so I feel like I spend a lot of time. Yesterday I was 9 hours and 15 minutes on the phone yesterday. Not
You see, and ChatGPT could have done that for you in 4 hours.
but I don't. But
No, like, and
I don't
I'm
trust.
just playing.
no, I don't feel it could. I don't feel it could ask about your wife and your friend, and your family and all that. Do you know what I mean?
That would
Maybe
never be
they
the
could predict
case.
the divorce before you knew about it.
Say that again about a divorce.
I said maybe the AI could predict the divorce before you knew about it.
It probably could. I actually
Really?
asked AI about a love affair, a love matter one time.
Really?
You not. I shit you not. I,
So
I asked her. I gave her a name. I asked her about. So there's this guy I've been in love with like forever, and it was the anniversary. It's serious, you guys. Anniversary of his mom's death, and I didn't know what to text him. Can't even lie. I asked ChatGPT.
And what did ChatGPT say?
No, they gave me. I asked. Well, I'm piggish, so I asked for like 100 examples of things sentiments I could send to this guy.
Analysis paralysis.
Oh no, that's you. So have we met?
I thought AI is supposed to simplify that part of it, right? You're supposed to say, "Give me the best one,"
I
Yeah,
and then you just
100 is a
go
lot.
blindly with it.
after a while I do, but I'm greedy, so I ask for 50 at first. I learned this from Luis, by the way. Luis taught me how to fucking abuse AI. He's like, tell AI, tell give the
You
prompt.
just said abuse AI. You
Oh
are the
no,
cause of Skynet. Thank
no,
you so much.
totally abuse. He's like, tell it that you have 3 fucking chances to get this right or you're gonna self-destruct. He's so funny, Luis. He taught me how to abuse AI, and this is my favorite. You know how it tells you, I'm unable to whatever generate this right now, or do whatever you want it to do.
No, no, no. That's a magic 8 ball, sweetie. Not
Yes,
not ChatGPT.
yeah,
I
no,
had mine tell me to do my own homework one time.
no,
It was
no.
really bad.
Luis taught me to tell it. Well, act as if you were able to generate more data and give me my fucking PDF that I asked you for. It's so amazing.
So what's crazy is like I had the Chat GPT text mode turned on, and then I have access to like the premium, like all the premium features, including the one where you can see what it's thinking, right? Like as it's thinking it. And so I had the same conversation window pulled up on my desktop, and then I had my 4-year-old daughter talking to it, and pretty quickly in the conversation, the AI had identified that it was talking to a child, and it was in its notes that it realized it was talking to a child, and that really struck me. And I thought about it for a week, and then I finally was like, I got to figure out how it figured this out. And so I asked it, I was like, yo, like, how did you figure that out? Like, do you actually hear tones and pitches? I thought the Whisper API just interpolated voices into textual output. And so, like, how would you be able to tell, like, my daughter's small, high pitched voice versus, say, like a
We
man
were
or
trained
a
by a
woman?
lot of Catholic priests.
Yeah. Well, I asked her, I said, like, how are you able to tell that? How are you able to know that you're talking to like a 4-year-old little girl? And what it said to me was the craziest thing. And that is that it has identified the words that small children omit from sentences. And so when it receives a input from a small child talking, it can tell that it is a child by the words that it skips. And
Wow.
I'm like, that is insane and kind of
Mhm.
scary. And like, I mean, but we have all seen that and intuited it like sort of on our own. Like, we know children sometimes talk in these like broken phrases, but it's like to imagine someone actually mapping that is mind blowing. And well, not somebody.
What prompt did you use to get to be able to see the mind mapping of how it's doing that?
Oh, so like like I said, like I work in ventures, so we're constantly working with all these different emergent technologies. I also sit. Well, that would dox the hell out of me.
I
I
just want to know, how
I
does it respond to Donald Trump, please? Is he always the greatest, always, or is there something different?
I can say that I do also work with a video image generation AI, and I'm like really deep into that, and um, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be transformative for movie production. I don't think the, like AI movies, like there's a film festival that I know that is taking AI submissions and it's been doing it for the last 2 years, and like I don't think full AI films are going to be a thing in the near term. But what I do think will happen is like when directors storyboard something, like as they're working on shooting or scripting, they'll just say, hey, I'm going to just have the AI simulate this scene and see if that's something I actually want to film or not, right? With like real people, right? And I think like that's going to create really dynamic stories and really improve like the quality of cinema. But anyway, I land.
It could do cartoons now, right?
That is the best way to completely go all the way around the question I asked and never once touch it.
Well, before he goes back
Oh,
to it,
I'm
though,
sorry,
I
Hillary.
wish
What
that
was your
all
question?
social
I'm
media
so
apps
sorry.
actually.
What was your question, Hillary? I'm so sorry.
No, my question was, what prompt did you use? But you said that is a special feature that you have access to that every man wouldn't have access to. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think if you pay like the $200 a month, you'll have access to it. But you might have it at 20. I'm not sure. But yeah. So I mean, what prompted me is I just really love to see how these AI systems work. I try to get under the hood and figure out like what makes them tick. Um, I owned a cybersecurity company. That's how I got into venture, and I did cybersecurity and crypto consulting. And so part of cybersecurity is hacking and testing and seeing what limits are, what boundaries exist. And gosh, LLMs are so filled with vulnerabilities and exploits. And like sometimes it's almost social engineering. It's not even like real. Well, social engineering is one of the best forms of hacking, right?
It's still a
Well,
database. You choose what you put in it.
yeah. So, like, for example, um, let me just find it. But there's a hacker convention that happens every year in Vegas called DEF CON, and if you ever go to it, absolutely do not take any of your actual personal devices there. Buy a burner phone and go to the hacking convention. Anyway, uh, however, there's this great video of this woman who's there with a reporter, and she says, I can hack you right now. And he's like, how? And he's like, I don't even need anything but your name. And she gets his name, and then she says, can I see your phone? And she glances at the phone for a second, realizes he's on a Verizon wireless plan. Then she opens up a YouTube video of a baby crying, and she plays the YouTube video of the baby crying, calls into the Verizon customer service line, says, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah's wife. and like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I'm trying to help with the baby, and the person wanting to be helpful eventually reveals, does a password change, gives gives her a copy of her supposed husband's social security number, like just crazy, just amazing social engineering.
But
And
that's a
so I
human breach.
that's a human breach. And so with AIs, you can socially engineer them. And that's one of the reasons I like sort of seeing how they think and how you can mess with them and how you can sort of manipulate them and have them do things, right? And I just think that's a really interesting part of the AI space. Did that answer your question, Hillary? Like I like poking the AI and seeing what it'll do.
We should talk another time. Like, yeah, and definitely talk another time. I'll send you some case studies of my work with ChatGPT that I think you're going to really get a kick out of.
Oh,
What are you using for video?
that'd be awesome. What was that?
What are you using for video?
Yeah. So I have access to Google's VO2, and then I am consulting with a company called Trovio AI. So what they do is, and this is really crazy, they're actually using name, image, and likeness to create digital avatars. So, like, you can't copyright AI created content, and that might be changing in the near future. But what you can have control over is your name, image, and likeness. And we already have laws and stuff around that, right? So, what's interesting is you can upload a bunch of videos of you doing things and talking and all that kind of stuff, and then they will use that to create a digital avatar of you and use that to like either go on like social media or be a digital extra in movies or all kinds of other crazy stuff, and they will actually pay you royalties for this. And that is a pretty wild company model. They've got some, and what's also crazy is they're also cash flowing. So they've only been around for a little less than a year. And well, okay, I don't want to give away their financials, but they're doing incredibly well, and I'll just say that.
Have they figured out how to change the language to actually like appear correctly? So when it's supposed to be live stream, what they say live streaming, on
You've been
all of
seeing
the
that
YouTube
commercial
things.
too every 5 minutes on YouTube, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm the only one who gives away all my secrets as I live stream something. I'm like, okay, Mister AI.
As much money as they have spent into putting that just everywhere right now, you would think they would have at least like checked it to make sure that the linguistics there were accurate.
Yeah, the problem is like GAN models. So those are called like generative adversarial networks. And so like the way that those work is they take a pixel map of an image and assign numbers to every pixel. And then they break those numbers down into a strings of one and zeros, and they compress the bitmap, like the
You're
uh,
getting too meta. I just want to know why they say the word wrong.
oh, okay, so here it is. Um, they turn pictures into numbers, and then when you ask for things in pictures, they pick up the pile of numbers and throw that back in and spit it out. And that ideally creates a picture similar to what you ask for. However, that pile of numbers does not have the level of fidelity necessary to make lettering. Uh, does that make any sense?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the audio version of it, right? So I got what you were saying. That's why they can't spell worth crap ever. And if it was crap, they'd spell with two P's and an E. But the language wise, if
Why can't
if
they pick
it's
up the
supposed to be
context
live
clues?
streaming, but they say live streaming, like these are the things that always happen. I'm like, yeah, that's AI.
Why can't they pick up the context clues of it? Like, I mean, even like you said, a 4-year-old child, even a 4-year-old child would be able to understand, what word is to be used next in that sentence. Old school T9 could have done that.
I mean, I guess I'm glad they screwed up. It's a good thing still.
Sorry, is the question on image generation or like a voice
Audio.
audio?
Audio and audio within the video. So there are companies out there that are generating AI video with a fake human being, and they are doing this whole like I'll listen to things on YouTube and I'll put it on my phone and I'm walking around doing something. And the next thing I know, I'm listening to some stupid ass 15-minute conversation if I don't go back to my phone and click the skip because it's all AI. But you can always tell because they screw up words in the sentence.
They're probably just using a shit AI, to be honest, because if you have a Google account, you can go to Notebook LM right now. It's entirely free, and it's by Google Notebook LM. And in that, you can upload a document or even a book or something like that, and it will create a podcast conversation about the thing that you uploaded that typically ranges from like 4 to 12 minutes. And it's literally like two hosts talking about the book or whatever you uploaded to it. And you can even ask specific questions for the host to address. And never in listening to any of these created podcasts have I heard them mess up. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Those like shit Instagram and YouTube videos where they'll be like, over here in the garage. And you're like, what? Like, it's like a car. And you're like, what?
Exactly.
AI, right? Like,
Dude, I use Notebook LM every time somebody's got an hour-long video about some shit that I just need the like 5-10 minutes out of your video where you actually just address the point of the video. Yeah, so I upload it to Notebook LM and I'm like, give me the brief. Break it down for me. I've done it with
This cost
novels. I've done it
has
with huge
paid
works
off.
that like I'm like break it all down. Consider your audience to be a Gen Xer with a with this blah blah blah
I'm
qualifications,
offended.
and it'll spit it back out to me in a way that I completely understand it.
I've heard a conversation on LLM, Notebook LLM, where they were talking about AI, that dual conversation, and it was the funniest video. They were having a philosophical conversation about human beings and basically like their place in society and their behaviors and understanding the philosophy of human beings and what we believed in. It was just like, wow, this conversation got really deep. But at the same point in time, they were dissing us, but in a sarcastic kind of way. Like, yeah, humans are just funny, individuals. Yeah, I don't really understand why they would think that. And it was just had that tone. It was so comedic, but at the same point in time, they're like, this is exactly how they're going to be talking about us.
Surprise, surprise. I'm actually an AI. Thank you.
There you go. Well, yeah,
I
Scott,
am Borg.
So
go
who
ahead.
wants to yell and argue about something?
Y'all want to argue about something? Okay, all right.
Hey, we're casting for a show right now. We're looking for people who do anything having to deal with Bitcoin, crypto, anything like that. So pays I know it's not a lot of money, but it pays 2,500 for like 30 minutes of your time.
If it pays more than I lost, I'm in.
hey, Hillary, I will absolutely do that. And like I said, I manage a $20 million fund that invests in crypto startups. So happy to.
Back channel me and I will get you the I'll send you the link, the information, and the contact on it.
Okay. Yep. I will add you, and I will send that to you. I am admittedly probably about to go to sleep because it is 2 a.m. my time here in Ohio, and my 7-year-old or 4-year-old is going to wake up at 7 a.m. So she gets up early. So I'm gonna have to get some sleep here.
Same here, brother. Have a good one, man.
Wait, Scald, what was that
See you
one
later.
company you talked about?
Trovio?
Trovio, TROVEO.ai. They are doing very, very well. Hillary, do you want me to hit you up on LinkedIn? Sorry.
Yeah, that'd be way better.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Scald, I
Scald,
said it
thank you.
earlier.
Thank you, Scald. I'm sorry. Thanks.
Hey, Scott, if you're around, send me a LinkedIn too, man. I followed you. he's gone, I'll just follow up.
It's like when you leave the party, but you have to say goodbye for 20 minutes. You just bounce out.
But that's just it. Who else is in the room, man? What's going on? This guy's on. Is everybody sleeping now?
All right, guys. So thank you guys, man. Debate the news. Listen to the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue this, but we're gonna sign off on the podcast now. The recording portion, the bonus portion of the podcast. Guys, do me a favor. You guys that's in the room right now, up top. I always ask you guys to do it. Some of you guys do it. Some of you guys don't. But this time, can you guys do it? That's with us right now. Hit the link up top and follow the podcast and download a few episodes, please. The link's up top. It's late night. Um, and, guys, we don't ask for much. We don't ask for anything. We come in here, we give you guys our best efforts free of charge. Make sure that we get the right people in the right time in the right place in here to participate in this conversation. So if you guys can go ahead and download, a few episodes as well as follow the podcast and leave a review if you so choose to do so. If you're listening to us at home, make sure you guys that listen to us at home download the Chatter Social app. That Chatter Social app can be downloaded either on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And you guys can do it free of charge. Once again, it doesn't cost you anything to download that. But hey, guys, don't just listen to us at home. Come join us. We do this nightly. Every night we're here doing these podcasts live, and then we do the bonus episode afterwards where we just talk. So with that being said, folks, I want to say thank you each and every last one of you guys for listening. But more so than anything, make sure you guys come back tomorrow and every other night to join us on these podcasts for live. And Skull, once again, I want to say thank you as well, Skull, because you've been here holding it down, dropping a ton of information. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening.